2-2-2. 2-1-2.
It looks quite hot.
One, two, one, two. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
For Sorrento, number 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here.
Tristan Colley.
It looks rather hot.
Jamie Swan.
Yeah.
58. Jude Gauntlet. Number 30.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
31. Abrahams.
1, 2.
Frank Kinnan. Bayswater City's match list has not come through just yet. Dean Kazura. 6, Alex McLean.
1, 2.
17, Andrew Moyo.
Mine is off now for some reason.
1, 2.
Yeah, but this is not working now.
1, 2.
Can you check for me? Just talk to me. Yeah.
Check. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Checking. Working.
Yeah.
1, 2. Hey.
Just come on.
We can just go with this one.
Yeah, I think they're coming and just come on it. Let me just check.
One, 2.
Yeah, got it.
1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome down to Inglewood Stadium. Apologies for the late start. Some technical difficulties here as we kick off this State Cup Reserves final between Sorrento and Bayswater. And Tommy, I tell you what, if this has got anything, any type of drama like that first under-18s match we just witnessed, we're in for a treat.
Yeah,
Good morning, Shaw. It was a great game, wasn't it, the first game? Afternoon,
It is the afternoon now, Tommy. Yeah, well done.
It's been a long morning. It was a great game, wasn't it? Subiaco and Bayswater, end-to-end action, a great tempo towards it, and Bayswater lifting the cup and winning that game. If we see a game half as good as that here, then I'll be very happy.
We'll if that Jamie Swan little back heel and a turn there for Sorrento is anything to go by. We're a bit of a treat here, and pouncing on the ball there is the Bayswater goalkeeper George Jackson. I'll try and do my obligatory duties before we dive into the commentary as Bayswater look to go forward there. Darting run there by the winger and ball across the box to no one in particular. Comes back out to Bayswater, pressing early. That was Sportiello. Finding McLean, his ball into the box will be dealt with and cleared. And I'll take a moment now to say, my name is Sean Fry. I'll be calling the action for you alongside Mr. Football WA's Tommy Dolman. You just heard from him earlier, and he'll be calling you through the two big finals coming up. And the women's and men's first team. Attacking the right of screen, and Sorrento in there, sky blue, the classic sky blue of the Gulls. Say, turnover possession there, and Bayswater look long. It's been a great tournament, this one. There's a little wrestle there between Sean McQuavo, it is, for Bayswater, wearing the number 9 up front.
Yeah, player McQuavo, who's played some senior minutes this season with the first team. So he looks as though he's slotting into that central role. Gomo DeCooley starting from the left-hand side. Very dynamic front three.
We've seen him in the first team in the NPL, haven't we? Gomo DeCooley, pace and power, and always a threat.
Former Perth Glory under 23 player Gomo DeCooley. Yeah.
Yep. Here we've got Igor Kvijanovic standing over this one. He'll leave it, though, for the free kick and a header. I didn't catch the goal scorer, Tommy. It may be Alex McLean, is it, number 6? I'm going to go with that. Early goal for Bayswater before we've had a chance to get settled here in the commentary box. It's not taken in the end by the man I said was standing over it, Kvijanovic. He left it for his teammate, who swung it to the back post. And Sorrento at 6s and 7s there defensively. Did you catch the goal scorer there, Tommy? Was it Alex McLean?
I didn't, Sean, but it was a great delivery into the area from Daniel Harrison, an outswinger from the right of the area in towards that back post. And the header was powered brilliantly into that bottom corner. Matthew Giudicati, no chance in the Sorrento goal.
Number 6, Alex McLean.
Here we go, confirmation of the goal scorer. It was Alex McLean. A great header, but questionable defending from the Gulls there. It was almost unmarked, unchallenged on the header. Chance for Sorrento to try and hit back here. And Bayswater will come forward. That didn't have the chance before the game to go into their paths to the final, but it has not been an easy one for Sorrento. They've had penalty shootouts in the semi-final against Swan United, penalty shootout in the quarter-final against the Glory. They did have one comfortable 5-1 win against Caramar and 4-2 against Kingsley in the first round. But 2 penalty shootouts to get here, and they're on the back foot early as dribbling and driving at them is Giordano Sportiello. Picking up the ball there and playing it to no one in particular for Sorrento is Jamie Swan.
Just the start Bayswater would have wanted, Sean, that early goal just to calm the nerves down. We saw in the previous game that the start of that game was a bit helter-skelter. Teams were really pressing, getting in each other's faces, that real back and forth, and at times that lack of control. But Bayswater, now that they've got that early goal, should be able to just maybe sit in a little bit tighter and keep the ball a little bit easier without taking too many risks.
Now, I do need to be very clear with my pronunciation here, Tommy, or you might think that Sorrento have made the signing of the season in signing Tommy Abraham from Chelsea, but it's Tommy Abraham wearing the number 32 for Sorrento today as Bayswater look to double their lead, and that ball across the box cut out.
great start from Bayswater. I think that was McLean again who was trying to carve out the cross towards the byline. He had Mukwevo in the middle. He also had Reese Pandor as well. And in the end, it was a crucial intervention from the Sorrento defence to put behind for a corner.
Yeah, Theo Gilson, and I think it was getting a foot in there for the Gulls. You don't want to go a goal down early in a final. You certainly don't want to go 2 goals down. Although as I look at the inter-shirts in front of us here in the race, Tommy, with the Italian flags on the back, it is a reminder that going a goal down in the first couple of minutes isn't the end of things. As that one headed back into the box by Sean Mukwevo.
It's a little bit too soon, that one, Sean.
I've mentioned it once in both games. That's my lot. I won't keep rubbing it in. That one cleared by Lawrence Christopherson. Back out, flashed across the box, looking for Mukwevo. He's going to touch it for a teammate. Rolls a little long, but Bayswater retrieve. Good pressure there from the Sorrento man. At the expense of a throw. Giordano Sportiello with the throw. Comes back to him. He can't keep that in the field of play. Sorrento will take over. Tristan Colley. Colley's a famous footballing name in Perth football at the moment. Everyone's back on their feet. No harm done. There's Christopherson again, clearing. The early running's all Bayswater though, isn't it, Tommy?
It is. They've certainly settled into the game a lot better. The early goal helps, of course. A little bit lax the defending, as we touched on before, but Bayswater really sort of benefiting from that early confidence, and they're on the front foot here with a throw for Sportiello.
Looking to make it a double delight for City. As we mentioned earlier, that 1-0 win over a spirited Subiaco line side in the under-18s. Late penalty saved there. Keeping the score, the final score there, 1-0, same as it is now. City leading by a goal to nil. Thanks for joining us at Inglewood Stadium on the Football West live streams on Facebook or YouTube or where
Cooley there, just in acres of space and able to drive into the box with real ease. As you said, he had Mukwevo and he had Pandor also arriving in the area. He obviously spotted a gap at Matt Giudicatti's near post and thought he could squeeze it in there, but it's yet another warning to Sorrento's defence that Bayswater are full of spark and full of life in this opening 10 minutes.
flick on there from
I think, Sean, it's been an early onslaught from Bayswater, who've really got themselves up and going in this one. Sorrento will just be looking to get the foot on the ball a little bit. Some of their players like Tristan Stevens, Tristan Colley, who've had senior MPL minutes, just to try and show a bit of leadership, calm things down in there.
Here is the Pandor, the Bayswater winger, looking to find his opposite winger in Giacouli. Bayswater cut it out. Sorrento cut it out rather, and the flag is up from Lawson Rimmer on the far side. It will be a Bayswater restart. Liam Barkley, the other assistant, on the near side. As that ball whipped into the area, good cross by Sportiello. Back out to Pandor. Loose touch there, gives Sorrento a chance, and here's Swan again. He's taking a tumble as he twisted Jacob Turner in knots.
Yeah, nice little turn there from Jamie Swan on the halfway line. He certainly took the narrow side of the space and did well to roll his marker and drew a foul, and that just gives Sorrento an opportunity to push their defence up a little bit and get some bodies forward to attack a set piece, their first notable one of the game, possibly.
Yeah, promising start from Jamie.
Team's game were really impressive, and particularly Subiaco, the Division 1 side as well, really matching it up with Bayswater City. Very impressive effort, and we know that Bayswater providing a little bit of concern, at least for the moment.
Yeah, well, he's been heavily involved in the game, scored the opening goal, and now down with a knock. Doesn't look to be in a tremendous amount of pain, but whether or not it's an injury that can be run off or one that'll force him into being substituted, we're not sure, although early signs upon his rising from the turf suggest that he will be okay to continue. Referee Niall Gilmore drops it.
been a little bit better from Sorrento in the past few minutes, Sean. They've obviously, the game's become a little bit more stop-start. Obviously, we saw McLean go down before. That's maybe just allowed the goals to reboot a little bit, and as we saw before, some passing across the back. They've been presented with a couple of set-piece opportunities, which they'll no doubt look to try and get ahead on the end of.
Yeah, just a little shell-shocked, I think, by that opening goal. But now starting to assert their influence on this game. Numbers forward, Sam. Sorrento throw. Collie again. Semi looks longer over the head there of Sportiello. Jamie Swan again involved. Winning another set piece for his side. Good response after the goal. A few minutes where they looked a bit unsettled, but they've really fought their way back into this. Once again, just Sam McQuavo up for Bayswater. Everyone else back. They're cleared. I think shouts for a handball.
It was Sportiello on the post there, Sean, who was in the right position. I don't think he knew much about it, but the header came in, it hit the fullback, and it was diverted away to safety. Secondary corner.
Yeah, real scrappy one there. Couldn't pick up who was doing what in the Bayswater box. Some the ball in. Front post run is over him. Bayswater header away, and free kick given there.
And that's just the tonic for Bayswater, sure. And as you said before, they've been under the pump in the last few minutes. So I was said they were relieved to get the free kick and take the sting out of it, but they took it quickly.
Frank Kinnan there winning the header and winning the ball back for Sorrento, who now have a throw. Interesting on those set pieces for Sorrento that Sam McQuavo's, he's not just the only man up, but he's sitting 10 yards offside. I'm not sure whether it's a tactic to try and unsettle the Sorrento defence, so they don't really know where he is, but obviously before the long balls are played, he's going to have to get back onside.
Well, we've seen Sean McQuavo play out wide in his cameos for the senior team, so he's shown himself to be a very adaptable player in that final three. So he's obviously through the middle at the moment, but he's obviously got the tools to be able to mix up his game, and at the moment he's on the last man, but I'm sure we'll see him be used as that counter-attacking outlet, particularly if Bayswater keep their lead as the game wears on.
Header there, won by Thomas Abraham. over the line, though, for a Bayswater throw. Here is McQuavo. Christopherson in his back, so he leaves it for Pandor. Pandor has a bit of support there in Sportiello. Can't find him, but wins a throw. Sportiello will retrieve the ball. Back for Sportiello. Sorrento hacked the clearance clear. Here's Swan. Foot in there by Turner. It's the ball forward for McQuavo, and he has support now out wide in Pietronero. Pietronero pulls it back. Harrison, I believe it was, headed away before it reaches Pandor. It comes to him now. He looks to turn around and stand up his man. He does that now. Rolls it out for Sportiello. The ball in for McQuavo over his head and will be cleared and dealt with by Ethan Banks. Long ball forward is an errant one. Ends up at the feet of Jackson. Pandor caught flat-footed there, and Sorrento come away. Swan again. This time can't get past Turner.
Sorrento have definitely found their footing in the game, that's for sure. They look a lot more confident now. Their fullbacks are pressing up a little bit higher and getting involved too.
That first time volley there across the box by Frank Kinnan. Jackson claims. Yeah, not finding it too easy to make those passes stick at the moment, this City side. As we go down on the near side via Colley, back to Kinnan. And Kinnan's pass intended there for Thomas Hunt. Out of his reach, and McQuavo picks it up and rolls it into the path of a teammate. A good defensive run there from Kinnan. Good tracking back to snuff out the danger posed by Alex McLean, the goal scorer. And here go Sorrento on the march forward. He had Abraham ahead of him there, the Sorrento midfielder, but couldn't get the pass to him. That was Banks. And Bayswater throw on the far side. Good crowd in here today at Inglewood Stadium, Tommy. We certainly heard the Subiaco supporters in full voice in that first game. Yet to hear too much noise in this one, but I'm sure if Sorrento find their way back into this game and find a way to put the ball in the back of the net, we'll hear some gulls chirping.
Yeah, perhaps the early goal shell-shocked the fans as much as the players early on, but they've responded really well, that's for sure.
Little toe there from Harrison in midfield for Bayswater. He's been one of the players of this tournament for them. He scored 2 in the semi and 1 in the round of 16. As that one from Christopherson is, well, the less said about it, the better. Pandor back for Kvijanovic. Kvijanovic, just like the Christopherson ball before, well and truly overhit. Guidicardi rolls it out to get the gulls going the other way. The long ball for Abraham is wide and resulting in a Bayswater throw. Chance now for Bayswater there. Gomez-Jakuli giving it away when you thought he had a chance to get ahead of steam up. Back to Guidicardi. Guidicardi clips that one up nice and high onto the head there of Tristan Colley. Is it back down to Christopherson, who, again, looking to bring rain down with the ball with that clearance. Well read and headed there by Jacob Turner. Swirling around in the Perth breeze. McQuavo. Important foot in there from Stevens to disrupt that. And Gilson will play it out wide there for Jude Gauntlet. Stevens again. Here's Abraham. Oh, good ball over the top there. This time from Gilsonen, and the Gulls are a chance here. Travelling into the box, and a good tackle at the back there from Jacob Turner, I think it was, for Bayswater. Another Sorrento corner. Oh, a bit of a miscommunication breakdown at the back there for Bayswater, Tommy.
Yeah, I think the fullback over on that far side just slightly misread the ball over the top. Maybe didn't think it was going to travel as far as it did. In the end, Gilsonen, who made his way, it was Gilson or Gauntlet, I'm not sure, made his way into the area and it was charged down.
Another corner for Sorrento. They've had a few early. A poor header there, and a strike on goal, and a strike on goal again while he's lying on the ground there from Jamie Swan. Well, fortuitous that it came back to him, but I tell you what, he got a fair connection on that one while he's lying on his back.
Yeah, nice little piece of improvisation there. He almost tried to just dig it out and scoop it over the crowd of bodies that were in front of him. Would have been a heck of a goal had it nestled in the back of the net, but just another sign to indicate that Sorrento have well and truly found their footing back in this game.
Yeah, it was a poor clearance by Dan Harrison, in truth. The header was right into the dangerous area where you don't want to put it. Here's a chance for Swan now. Tried to flick it on. It bounced back to him fortuitously. Swan will take a strike on goal, and it's high and wide and not very handsome from Jamie Swan on this occasion.
Just starting to get himself into the game, though, isn't he, Sean? We saw him pick up the ball on the left-hand side, do a nice little piece of skill to try and break off his marker on the halfway line, and he's just starting to get the ball to feed a little bit more, use that strength, use that pace, and try and cause Bayswater's defence some problems. He looks like an outlet that's going to be really important if Sorrento are going to get back into this game. Yeah,
he's been good to watch. Very lively player by the looks of things, as McQuavo loses out there in the air to Gilsonen, and Sorrento looks to go the other way. Good body work there by Jamie Swan, showing he's more than just about flair, and just leaning into the back there of Thomas Hunt was the backtracking Bayswater midfielder.
Yeah, smart play by Hunt there. He knew that he had McLean on his back and chasing and trying to get to the side of the ball, but Hunt was able to just put his body in the right position, made sure that if a leg was going to go out, that the player would be connected with and not the ball, and that's resulted in this free kick. And this one's a little bit closer than the one earlier in the half, Sean, and I'm sure there'll be the right-footed option in Ethan Banks will be lining this one up again.
Yeah, I'm sure if Ethan Banks could pick up the ball and put it down for a free kick anywhere that he chose, it would be pretty close to where it is right now. Nice bit of distance from the 18-yard box, enough space to get the ball up and down over the wall. It's exactly what he does. It just doesn't quite get the power on it. And George Jackson, with a little side shuffle, handles that one comfortably.
Yeah, Jackson went early there, Sean. He telegraphed that one almost. He took the step quickly, read the ball and claimed it pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah, always a risk as a goalkeeper when you do take the early movement. On this occasion, he guessed right. It's another Sorrento foul. A bit of a pattern emerging here, and Sorrento do go forward. That Bayswater players happy to give away the fouls and the free kicks. Not sure how happy the coaching staff are on the sidelines with them getting beaten to these balls. Bayswater 1, Sorrento 0. Early Alex McLean header the difference in this one so far. Sorrento v Bayswater in the Reserves Cup final. The second of our quadruple header Football West action today. Thanks again for joining us as Sorrento put the ball into the area. It's punched away this time by Jackson. He's had a bit to do now. Jamie Swan just looks to flick that one back in, and Jackson wisely under pressure there from Hunt just lets it roll out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was good aggressive goalkeeping there from Jackson. He once again, a little bit like the free kick before, he knew what he wanted to do early. And as a goalkeeper, if you come out, you've got to do it with conviction, Sean. You can't half do it. You've got to come out with conviction, make your decision early, and that's what Jackson did. He got the punch. It wasn't maybe as clean as he'd like, but it was diffused sufficiently enough to be able to give Bayswater a settling goal kick.
Well, we saw how important goalkeeping can be in these finals in that under-18s game at Preston Gilling. I don't know, did you catch who won the player of the game in that one, Tommy?
I didn't, but Gilling was arguably the key player in the game. He made 3 tremendous saves,
absolutely
and
fantastic,
particularly
including the penalty at the end.
And he really was the decisive figure, because Subiaco could have quite easily have gotten an equaliser in the second half with the way the game unfolded after a pretty good first half from Bayswater.
And when you have a goalkeeper in that sort of form, and then a goalkeeping error in truth for the only goal of the game, shows how important it can be. And George Jackson has certainly put his right foot forward here in the opening stages. Throw in there from Sportiello. At the feet there of Kvijanovic. Still at the feet of Kvijanovic. He wins his side a free kick.
Yeah, just clipped there as he tried to wriggle away. Sorry, Sean.
I was just going to say another position of danger. We had a couple of set pieces in good areas. This is a pretty tantalising one for Bayswater. Interesting to see whether or not you get the left footer going direct. It's probably a difficult angle for that. Maybe more likely to see the right footer clip and curl it away from Guidicardi and the Sorrento goal. It will be the right footer curling away from goal there from Dan Harrison, but just overhit and over the byline for a Sorrento goal kick.
It was McLean once again who slipped into that area at the back post. This time the weight of the ball a little bit too heavy from Harrison, but you see it's something that they've obviously worked on during the week, that set piece, that number at the back post to try and either get that header back across goal or find the inside of the goalpost as they did for the goal.
Guidicardi's long ball doesn't find a target. Swan muscled out of it, and here is Bayswater going the other way again. Chance for Maquavo. Good slide from the sprawling Guidicardi. Comes back out to Gomez-Jakuli, who can make it too. Great save from the Sorrento stopper to smother that chance from the big number 10.
Brilliant goalkeeping there from Giudicetti, not once but twice. He came out. We spoke about the conviction before of the Bayswater goalkeeper George Jackson a moment ago in terms of punching. This time it was Giudicetti who came flying off his line. He had to get there first and did, and then he didn't panic. He stood up, he stood tall, he didn't go to ground, and he made sure he got his body in the way to deny Jakuli.
Fantastic goalkeeping, and Sam Maquavo looks like he may have taken a bit of a knock in that initial challenge. Both players give their opposition a pat on the backside. We'll get going again, and Maquavo looks a little ginger, but happy to run it off by the looks of things.
A player who's played plenty of senior minutes as well, Matt Giudicetti, Sean. He had to come in for a period of time when Joel Driscoll went down with his injury at the start of the season, and he's also been called upon when Connor Campbell was out as well. So, player with plenty of experience at this level.
Rays Pandor just leading the Sorrento defence on a merry dance there. Nifty bit of footwork from him. But it all comes to naught as Guidicardi will retrieve a ball for a goal kick. Has Christopherson short. He will use him. Colley down the line if he wants to use him. Comes inboard instead for Stevens. Stevens, great switch of play over to the right wing there. Streaming run forward from Banks, but ignored. Perhaps that was the option, but the long diagonal overhit. Bayswater will get things restarted now.
Yeah, Banks worked really hard, didn't he? He made a lot of ground from the middle of the pitch. He wanted to try and just stretch that Bayswater defence. He wanted just that little pass into the channel.
He certainly had a lot of green grass ahead of him, didn't he?
Didn't quite get there, so an opportunity for Sorrento there to really create a good opportunity there has gone begging.
Jackson's goal kick over the head of the sliding Maquavo. Lost his footing there on the Inglewood Stadium turf. Got a lot of work to do this grass today with 4 finals end to end to end to end. Still looking in good nick now. Hopefully it'll still be the case by game number 4. What a tantalising matchup that is, Floriat. Without a number of players you were mentioning, Tommy, for that big game.
Yeah, looking forward to that one later. And, of course, the Women's State Cup final as well between Mum FC and Balcatta at 3 p.m. before that.
2 fantastic teams in both finals. Long throw looking for Maquavo. Just looks her back into Christopherson. Does well to leave it for Pandor. He's tackled, but the ball rolls over the line ahead of Sportiello, who picks it up and takes a quick throw. back to Sportiello. Looks to skip inside a couple, just as his heels clipped there. I think it was by Frank Kinnan. Another free kick in a dangerous area for Bayswater.
Both teams have just conceded a few needless free kicks, I think, Sean. We saw a few at the other end for Sorrento. Maybe a couple of needless ones at this end of the ground as well. We saw what Bayswater did in the first few minutes with Daniel Harrison's delivery, and this is going to be his third opportunity. What can they make of this one?
Igor Kvijanovic is the left-footed option alongside Dan Harrison here. It looks like Kvijanovic is shaping up to take it, although so is Harrison. Kvijanovic it will be. Curls it, good ball in good area, and Gridicati got a good double fist on it. Wins a free kick there. It's the Sorrento attackers not getting any piece of the ball. Sorrento look to build again from the back. Colley just has his jumper pulled a little. We don't see too many goalkeepers opt for the baseball cap these days, Tommy, but Matthew Gridicati in the Sorrento goal is wearing one today. It's a difficult time of day for a goalkeeper here at Inglewood Stadium with the sun bearing down on him, as here's a chance for Sorrento. Ball comes out now to Abraham. Back there for Kinnan. And, really good trap there from Tristan Colley. Rolls it back across for Banks. Comes back out and by Kinnan. Maybe a Sorrento throw on halfway.
Bayswater did really well there, Sean. They got numbers back really quickly, and they made it really hard for Abraham to try and pick out that pass when he did look up. Good organisation there, and they really sort of condensed that space, and in the end it was Colley who did a good job to keep the play alive for the time being, but ran into trouble ultimately.
McQuavo trying to skip by Christopherson there. An errant touch. Surrenders possession back to Sorrento. He's got Abraham down the line, doesn't quite reach him. Splits the difference between Abraham and Thomas Hunt. Headed out, and we can try again. Over the head of Abraham again this time, looking for Kinnan. Bayswater win the ball in the air and at ground level. McQuavo just looking to tow a ball into the path of Ducouli. Sportiello's cross cleared away from goal and looped, looking for the run there of Jamie Swan by Ethan Banks.
Just bobbled up on Banks there, Sean. I was watching him as he was looking up and assessing his options, and the ball took an awkward bobble just as he was about to swing the boot. So a little bit unfortunate there for the Sorrento number 21.
Another good bit of hold-up play there from McQuavo. So strong in those challenges. It's been a really physical battle between him and Christopherson early, and we get to see it again here. Just holding the Sorrento defender's shirt a little there, out of the side of the referee, and the ball into the box. Arriving at the back post was Harrison, and in the end it required a clearance from Ethan Banks. Bayswater will have their corner. Kvijanovic stroll over to take this one. 2 men up for Sorrento, 2v2 on halfway. Swan and Abraham occupy the thoughts of Sportiello and Pietronero. Ray's Pandor, the Bayswater winger, just dropping back to be in a position to help out if needed. But here comes the Bayswater corner. It was wide there of Kazura. Comes back out in his direction now. He calls for the corner and gets it. Bayswater captain wearing number 4 today, Dean Kazura. Second attempt at a corner from the left for Bayswater. 2 up still for Sorrento. Pandora in that same position I mentioned before. Ball brought into the box over the head there of Jacob Turner. And here go the counter and goals. There is that touch, and Pandora trying to get back, and here is the counter attack that we mentioned was going to be a bit of a danger with the 2v2. Roll out for Ethan Banks. And Bayswater getting back in numbers. Banks ball to the back post, headed over by Jamie Swan. And that looks a danger on those set pieces. Bayswater perhaps would be well advised to maybe drop an extra man back, because that was a little too easy to counter from that corner, wasn't it, Tommy?
Banks was in. The pass just needed to be a little bit more narrow. In the end, a little bit too much weight on it. It forced Banks possibly a little bit wider than he wanted to be, and in the end, the cross came in. It was still a good recovery from Banks, and if anything, Swan maybe jumped a little bit early and just mistimed his leap, and that meant the ball went over the bar. But as you said, Sean, the counter-attacking ability of Sorrento is clearly developed over the course of the game, and with a better pass there, Banks definitely would have been through on goal.
Yeah, certainly a let-off for City as McQuavo ducks inside Christopherson, leaves it for Pandora. Those two linking up nicely so far. Ball in looking for Jakuli. He's going to hustle over to get there. He won't get there first, ahead of Jude Gauntlet, who picks up possession and then is fouled by the Bayswater man. Another player down on the near side. It's McLean again. The second time he's looking to be struggling a little bit, and he certainly has a bit of a limp in him as he's running across there to get in position for this Gritticardi goal kick, or free kick rather. Looking for the head of Swan. Swan does get the flick on. Hustling out there to make his presence felt is Thomas Hunt, a little too vociferously.
McLean still limping a little bit off the ball there.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all, does he?
But we have only got a few minutes now until half-time. In fact, I think we're about to see the fourth official's board go up shortly, so I think they'll try and just nurse him through until half-time. They'll take a look at the break, and they'll probably deem whether he's fit enough to come back on in the second half.
Yeah, still a few minutes, I think, before stoppage time. I think the fourth official, Jatin Lodia, there just testing out his tablet, make sure everything's in working order. Geez, this first half's gone quick, hasn't it?
It's been a good game, Sean. Both teams have... it was probably a little bit of a slower burn than the first game, where it was all action and high intensity. Bayswater obviously got the early goal, but Sorrento have worked their way into the game really well, and Bayswater have obviously still maintained that threat on the break as well, with the likes of Mukwevo and DeCooley as well. So it's all set up for an exciting second half, that's for sure, and it'll be interesting to see whether any changes are made between these sides at half-time, as Sportiello just loses his feet there.
Yeah, slip at a crucial time there from Sportiello, and Sorrento can go the other way now through Abraham. McLean getting back. Seems to have run off that limp, but Abraham juking one way, then the other. Comes back to Abraham, who plays it nicely there into the path of Hunt, but a crucial intervention before he could get it wide and onto a teammate. Jakuli can't get there. The gauntlet goes the other way. Sorrento growing into this game. Lovely lunging tackle there from the Bayswater defender. Gets up and screams at his teammates to push forward. Kazura. Just the one added minute there is the fourth official's tablet.
Gorgeous build up there from Sorrento just before they played the lovely intertwining passes through Bayswater's midfield. The little flick there, and then just that final pass didn't quite work, but encouraging signs for sure.
Well, when you started that sentence with gorgeous, Tommy, I thought you were about to mention my bow tie, but we'll leave that for later. Gritticardi picks the ball up with just seconds remaining in this first half. Bayswater City leading 1-0. State Reserves Cup final. Second of 4 here today at Inglewood Stadium. Lunging header there by Hunt, didn't get anywhere near it, and Bayswater can look to go the other way. Good tackle by Gauntlet, he's been good. Pressure applied there by Hunt, forcing the turnover. And barely enough time to take this throw in, I would have thought. As Noel Gilmore looks at his watch. Opts not to blow it just yet. Another Sorrento throw, perhaps a chance to whip a ball into the box. If they can get possession, they won't have long. Jakuli getting there and cutting it out. And there will be another Sorrento throw. Will it be a long launch? into the area. The cry from the Sorrento bench is for a long throw. And in the end, they go short instead. They do get a ball into the area, though. Well-fashioned chance, but poorly executed cross. Noel Gilmore takes another look at his watch and looks just about ready to blow his whistle. There it is, the half-time whistle from this one. Well, an entertaining first half. Early goal by the head of Alex McLean from a set piece, and that's all she wrote. Tommy, what are your thoughts on the first half?
I thought Bayswater started the game really well. Sean, Sorrento, maybe a few nerves at the start of the game. Big cup final day. But they grew into the game, to give them credit. They got their passes together. They showed a bit of a threat. A lot of what they did good came through the likes of Jamie Swan and Ethan Banks, who I thought also had a good half. But in the end, it was Judicati who probably made the biggest save after that. The double save from DeCooley to ensure that the lead stayed at one, and at the other end, George Jackson was busy without having to make a key save, I'd say. But Bayswater probably shaded that first half based on their start, but Sorrento well and truly in this one going into the second half.
It's certainly on a knife edge, this Reserves Cup final between Bayswater and Sorrento. Sean Fry and Tommy Diamond will be back for the second half with the score: Bayswater City 1, Sorrento FC 0.
Welcome back to Inglewood Stadium for the second half of this second game in our quadruple header. Football Saturday is alive and kicking here in Inglewood. This is Bayswater City versus Sorrento, the Reserves State Cup final. Bayswater leading by an Alex McLean header, 1-0. Very early on. I'm Sean Fry calling the action here for you alongside Tommy Dolman. Sorrento in the sky blue attacking the right of screen in this second half. Bayswater attacking to the left as McQuavo gets his first involvement for the second half. And Tommy, your thoughts on who's going to win this one, how Sorrento can fight their way back into it?
I thought Sorrento played pretty well towards the end of the first half, Sean. They started to connect a few passes together. The likes of Jamie Swan, and Ethan Banks were players who I thought really got themselves into the game well and started trying to link up that midfield and front three a little better. So if they can keep doing that and they can prevent Bayswater from countering, then they'll have a good chance of equalising, in my opinion, as the game wears on.
So that cross is well over hit there. Sportiello, I think it was. Sorrento can build up play on this near side. It was Gauntlet looking down the line, finding Banks, who surrenders possession, and Bayswater looks to go forward, but a poor pass there from Kvijanovic. Sorrento again, surrender possession a little easily. Kvijanovic with another chance. Snapping into the tackle there is Hunt. Overly vociferous in the eyes of Niall Gilmore. Bayswater win the free kick. As I mentioned, this is the second out of 4 games today. The earlier fixture saw Bayswater win by the current scoreline here in this game, 1-0. First half goal there, and able to hang on. Let's see if the reserve side can do the same. As that ball flashed across, important touch there from Gudicardi. Comes back out to Kvijanovic, who fires into a Sorrento boot, and they can go the other way again. Sliding tackle there from Banks as he found himself a little behind the ball.
Yeah, they're tough ones for the goalkeeper to deal with. They're spitting across the 6-yard box. Do you stick out a glove? Do you leave it? In the end, Gudicardi took action. He got a glove to it and diverted it away from any following in Bayswater players.
I think he certainly had to be commanding there and get a touch on it, and he got a good hand, obviously, into a dangerous area, but his defence did the rest. Here's Abraham, a couple of shirt tugs either way, so the referee will let that run. Abraham wins out in the end. Kinnan spreads it wide and receives the return ball. Jamie Kinnan in a bit of space, looking inside there for Banks, who gets it back out for Kinnan. Stevens. And they come all the way across out the other side. Gauntlet in a bit of space. Steps inside, Gomo Jakuli, and then lunges to get a touch on the ball and just wait for the contact there. It was a story of the first half, a few fouls in these dangerous areas, and they've got another chance here, Sorrento.
Yeah, both players stretching in the challenge there. It looks as though Gauntlet's come off the worst of the two.
Good position for this set piece for Sorrento to whip one across the box. Bayswater had one in almost an identical position earlier in the first half, and the ball across from Harrison was a little overhit. Let's see what Ethan Banks can do here. Three in George Jackson's wall. Again, just the one up for Bayswater. And 2 defenders for Sorrento. Ball into the box in Jackson's vicinity. Gets a good double punch on that. Hunt will field and cut back inside. Creates himself a nice bit of space to get a ball into the box. It ricochets out off a Bayswater defender, and it'll be a Sorrento corner.
Yeah, we saw it in the first half, Sean. Good decisive goalkeeping once again from George Jackson. Got to be strong in your conviction when you try and get rid of these set pieces, and he did on that occasion.
Yeah, not an easy one. It was coming with a fair bit of pace at an awkward height for him to get a good punch on it, but he did well. He's going to come for this one as well, and does not quite as well on the first one. Leaves it there for an opportunity for Sorrento, but the free kick will be given to a sprawling Dean Kazura. Very clear instructions there from Mr. Gilmore. But that'll be the last time you're allowed to do that before you go into my book. Thomas Hunt, it was making the challenge.
Yeah, aggressive goalkeeping from Jackson again, just did enough. And then Kazura knew that if he got to the ball first, then he would be the one winning the foul, and that's exactly how it unfolded.
Jackson's resulting free kick is long and in the area of Gomo Jakuli. It doesn't reach him, though, and McLean wins it in the air. Jakuli back to his feet, trying to make his presence felt defensively. McLean gives away the free kick. Well, despite the lead, and well, McLean's going to find his way into the book. I think from the gestures by the referee, it may have been for persistent fouling. Gudicardi will jog forward to take the resultant set piece. Sun's back out, but the clouds are getting greyer and greyer here at Inglewood Stadium. Still no rain today, so hope we hold off for a little bit longer. Header there from Christopherson into the path of Pandor, but he used an arm to control it, although his argument was that it was his shoulder. I'll go with the referee because my eyesight is not what it used to be, Tommy.
I like this Sorrento start to the second half, Sean. They were caught a little bit cold early on by Bayswater's early goal. They've started the second half a lot better off here.
And they certainly have. Tristan Colley standing over a deep free kick. Plenty of numbers forward. Colley's free kick is into a good area, headed away and cleared by Bayswater. At least for now. Out for a Sorrento throw. Gauntlet gets there quickly to take it. Has Abraham close. He's got a few options further afield. One of them is Swan. Looks a little closer for Banks. He can't bring it in, but fights hard for give Abraham a chance. In the end, Harrison streams away with it. He's got McQuavo running. He's got Jakuli running as well. Jakuli opposed there to Gilsonen. And well done by the Sorrento man to hold up the attack. The referee's decision was a Bayswater throw, but the assistant Liam Barkley thought otherwise. Cleared high by Kazura. No one can win it the first time. Second ball and third ball there won by Banks, but he turns it over and Bayswater give it straight back.
A little bit like what we said about Sorrento in the first half, Sean. I think it'd be beneficial for Bayswater maybe to just settle their way back into the half. They've been a little bit rash in terms of their passing and the possession. If they can just settle things down again, get a foot on the ball, they might be able to regain that form which they started the first half with.
Abraham wide for Colley. Kinnan working hard to give an option further afield. He receives it now. Back to Abraham, who has Stevens in space, who will look like he was going to turn, drop the shoulder and send his man for the paper. Wide for Gauntlet now. Plenty of space for him to fashion across. He does get across into the box. Abraham can't get a toe on it, and it's cleared by Kazura. And it must have been off a Sorrento player. Deflection. Out for a goal kick, and we have our first substitutions of the game. Jacob Forsyth, is it, for Bayswater? I don't have a number 2 on my team sheet. Do you have one there for me, Tommy? I'm not sure. We'll get you that as soon as we can. Jacob Forsyth coming on to replace Gomo Jakuli, is it? We'll get confirmation of those substitutions to you shortly. Long ball there from Jackson. Picked up by Pandor. Can't make it stick. Harrison's got options on the right side. Finds the nearest one in the substitute, Forsyth. He rolls it out there a little too strongly for Sportiello. Can't keep that one in, and Sorrento will take a throw backed up all the way down near their own byline. Our apologies here. We do not have a confirmation on the substitution. Number 2 for Bayswater. Let's hope he doesn't do anything too brilliant, Tommy, or we're just going to have to call him number 2. Jackson finds number 2 now, who turns nicely on the ball and plays it long down the line, and I think he'll be glad we don't know his name after that pass. Tristan Colley with a throw for Sorrento. Quavo rolls it for Harrison. Further afield here for Pietranero. Fires, and a good save from Guidicati. Both goalkeepers come up big when required so far in this game.
Yeah, Giudicati saw that one late as well, I think. He went the right way, though. He stuck out the glove and tipped it around the post. Good strong hand as well, because that could have quite easily have been palmed back into a dangerous area.
McQuavo ducks inside Colley there. Plays it back for Sportiello. Returns possession. And gives it back again. Here's Pandor for Harrison. Looked to turn away there from Hunt. Hunt got a foot in. Bayswater will take the throw. I'll tell you what, Tommy, I'm going to let you warm up a little bit for your calls in the next 2 games. I'm going to go and find out the name for us in that number 2. Over to you.
A throw for Sportiello here. Pandor will pick up the ball, look to return for Sportiello, who will just stroll over and take the throw again. So Sportiello into the feet of Ivanovic. Sportiello will continue his run in, but Wavo managed to get the ball back. Harrison will drive on from distance, just skewed off the outside of the boot and in and behind for a goal kick, and Giudicati will get this one taken quickly, and Sean Fry's back with you on the call once more.
Logan Rindle it is, number 2, the substitute. We had him down here as number 21. He is wearing number 2 out there for Bayswater. That throw in, headed back down the line there by Kvijanovic. Over him on this occasion. A good battle there to win the ball back by Kvijanovic. He picks it up, plays it for Pandor, who has to retreat there for the other substitute, Jacob Forsyth. His ball there a little heavy for Sportiello to run onto. Scooped down the line by Turner.
Just looks as though Jamie Swan's playing on the last defender at the moment, Sean. And when we saw him involved and at the centre of Sorrento's attacks in that, as they wore into that game in the first half, he was a little bit deeper and picking up the ball a little bit earlier in the move. So I'm sure if they can get him back into the game, it'll be good for them in terms of their opportunities to maybe grab an equaliser.
Oh, lovely curling pass there for the path of Banks, who's dribbles his way past a couple and then halted in his tracks by a pretty abrupt tackle from Jacob Forsyth.
Yeah, Banks did have Hunt over on that far side as well, arriving late into the area. It was a good run from the player we mentioned before, actually, in Swan, who just took the defender away, left the space open, and the pass just couldn't quite be picked there for Tom Hunt, but as it turned out, he was checked anyway, and Sorrento have a free kick opportunity here with 6 players at the back post there.
Yeah, Tristan Colley jogging over the left footer to take this. A range that will tempt him to go direct. Somewhere between 25 and 30 yards out. Tristan Colley just clips this one onto the penalty spot. Headed away by Rindell. It comes out for McQuavo. Plays it back for Rindell. A little 1-2. McQuavo dropping deep there to help out his defence. Long ball headed back, and McQuavo picks up again. He's got it on a string at the moment. Colley gets across and hoofs that one into the air. Swan's going to try and provide pressure. The flag is up, but I don't think it was Swan that was offside. So I think it was Swan that was offside, rather, and not the player that the ball came to. Yes. And the referee just telling the Bayswater defence to calm down because they're as furious.
I think Swan was offside, but the main referee deemed that he wasn't involved in the action, so allowed play to continue.
Yeah, he definitely fell for the other Sorrento man, but whether or not you would say Swan was influencing the play by his physical presence is a judgment call. The referee opting to give the favour to Sorrento there as they are really growing into this second half and pressing for that equalising goal. His Gauntlet had his cross blocked. Back out to Stevens. He clips one in there. Well fielded there by Frank Kinnan. Colley, again, this time opposed to Sportiello. Sorrento ball again. Kinnan drops it back for Colley, who fizzes one across the box. No blue shirts there, and Harrison can clear for the run of McQuavo. I tell you what, if that was just a little underhit, or a little more underhit than it was, McQuavo would have been a chance. Plenty of space there. The pass wasn't quite right. His Gauntlet picks it up now on the near side. Abraham runs ahead of him. He opts to go back to Stevens instead. Good little touch from Stevens after the first one was questionable. Just leaves Harrison behind. That ball forward, just out of the reach of Banks. Look for this game to start opening up now as the minutes tick down. As the desperation of Sorrento grows, I'm sure the counter-attacking threat of the likes of McQuavo and Pietranero on this near side will grow and grow. And here's a chance here for Pandor to run onto it. He won't get there ahead of Christopherson, who thumps the ball over the fence. And just a bit of a break as we fetch the ball. And Bayswater ready to get us restarted now with the throw-in. Pandor's touch back to the thrower. Put him under pressure, and here's a chance for Sorrento. It's a 4-on-3 if they can move quickly. Breaking forward is Colley, looks to switch it in the path of Stevens. He's got Abraham to his right. As Stevens comes inside, nice little chop there. Rolls it back out for Abraham, but advantage was being paid by Niall Gilmore, and he's pulled it back after that pass.
Yeah, it was Tom Hunt there who joined the attack from midfield, having been back defending initially. He opted to come inside, and it proved the right move. And as you said before, he was halted in his progress. And once again, Sorrento have a free kick in a pretty good position here. They've had quite a few of them in this game. Can they capitalise and make one of them work?
Yeah, it's been a series of set pieces for the goals. Abraham just lurking out on this near side without a marker. You think Bayswater are going to have to wake up to this, because he is still standing 20 yards on his own with an unchecked run to goal if they want to roll it into his path. Still stands there, Abraham, with no one interested in going to him. He gets a glance there from Harrison, so I think he is aware and will be going to that man. It is rolled to Harrison, who whips it across the box, and gee, they were sleeping a little bit on that one, Bayswater. I would have liked them to get a defender over there if I was a Bayswater coach, but it comes across the box and off the crossbar, the volley from Gilsonen. Well, that's as close as they've come to an equaliser. Not quite to be for Theo Gilsonen, making his way forward from the Sorrento back four. The captain, so close to a captain's goal and an equaliser there.
Oh, you called it, Sean. It was Tommy Abraham, who was just all on his own. He was just being watched by Bayswater's defence. The player wasn't called across. The ball was predictably played, and the initial cross had a bit too much fizz on it. The ball was recycled, though, and then a magnificent chance for Christopherson, the best of the game that Sorrento have had, and a big chance for an equaliser.
Gilsonen, I think it was, that
Gilsonen, apologies.
turned it onto the crossbar. It's all good. We all make mistakes. I haven't made one yet this game, but that challenge there, bit of a mistake from Jude Gauntlet. He'll pick up a yellow card and find his way into Niall Gilmore's book. Harrison and Kvijanovic standing over this one. It's the consultation of the two headband-wearing Bayswater men has resulted in Kvijanovic walking away, leaving this one for Harrison, who I think will just try and curl it in the direction of Gritticardi. See if Bayswater can get a touch on the way through. He goes for the driven, lofted ball to the back post instead, headed away. And touch to bring it down was good enough by Forsyth. Here's Pandor. Forsyth runs beyond him. He doesn't receive the ball. It goes instead to Sportiello, and back out again. Chance to get a ball into the box. Well read there by Stevens. His long ball looking for Swan. First touch was off the Bayswater defender. Sorrento throw taken quickly. Looking for Abraham, and good retreating intervention there for Bayswater in midfield. Long high ball battle there between Stevens and Pandor. Sorrento come away. Swan makes a run down the line. Long ball goes inside instead, and it's cleared by Rindell. McQuavo looking to challenge Gauntlet, and that is a rash tackle from the Bayswater number 8, and he'll be lucky to escape a yellow card. I would have thought. He was very late to that one.
Yeah, Gauntlet got the touch of the ball first, and arriving late on the scene there was Harrison. It was a late collision. Referee thought about taking some action, and he's just going to give Harrison a bit of a talking to here. Lenient officiating there, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm sure Jude Gauntlet, as he picks himself up and dusts himself off, is thinking, oh, I got a yellow card for not much more than that. But I'm sure his focus is on getting back to the action and helping Sorrento find an equaliser. Gauntlet picks it up now. Abraham. One-on-one for Abraham, and just charging out and taking him down and taking the ball away with him was Pietronero. Now it's McQuavo running into Stevens, who shimmies inside Harrison and spreads the ball over there. It looked like the pass was intended for the linesman.
It's just off the instep there. The overlapping run came from the fullback there, Tristan Colley. He has a paddock of space, and I'm not sure there was
slice it there, wasn't he? He didn't quite get the contact right.
Yeah, off the instep instead, and it just the wrong part of the ball and went behind. That was a good opportunity though if the pass was right.
McQuavo again backing into Christopherson, using that physicality and just holding him off and then accelerating away. He's been good at that today. Here's Pandor. Now Christopherson has him to deal with. Pandor shimmying and shaking. Difficult to defend the two very different types of attackers. They're both obviously with a bit of pace behind them, but McQuavo just loves to back in and use that strength and physicality, whereas Pandor has the more nimble footwork. Long ball down the line. Unable to be fielded there by Hunt. Bayswater now with it. Back to Kazura. Just thumps a long diagonal onto the head of Colley. He stands under it and heads it back down the line. Kinnan will try and make himself a nuisance. Forsyth just thumps it down the line. It ends up with Pandor now. Forsyth clips that one. A chance again for McQuavo, this time opposed to Gilson, and turns Gilson and well, but he recovered from the early turn and got a foot in. Another Bayswater corner.
Yeah, it was a great recovery there from Gilson, and we've seen that McQuavo's been really adept at holding up the ball, and he tried to just wriggle away from his opponent, but defender didn't go to ground, didn't lose his cool, got the foot in and diffused the situation for the time being.
It certainly looked like he'd beaten him with that little drop of the shoulder and gained a yard or two, but the closing speed and outstretched leg was enough. Long ball to the back post, over the head there of the Sorrento defender, and the strike on goal from Rindell takes a deflection. Another Bayswater corner.
Yeah, off the head of Ethan Banks, I think, who was, I'm not sure if it was on target, but Banks wasn't to know that. He threw his head at it and put it behind for another corner.
As we head towards the business end of this one, the score remains Bayswater City 1, Sorrento 0. Looking to just about put it to bed here with the goal from this Kvianovic corner. It's an outswinger flicked onto the back post, turned on goal and over the goal by the Bayswater man there. And he hustles his way back to the back line as we have a Sorrento substitution. It will be Nathan Firth coming on to replace Jamie Swan, who's been lively up front, but his influence has certainly waned in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
27, Jamie Swan, replaced by number 34, Nathan Frith.
I think it may have been Rindell who made that run to the near post, got the flick on, and then it was Kazura who was sat on the 6-yard box there and just couldn't react quickly enough to get his boot over the ball and ended up scooping it over instead. A good opportunity there to Bayswater to put the game to bed, as you said before, Sean.
My apologies on the pronunciation there. I think I'll go with the MC's call there of Nathan Frith. Apologies if that's not correct, but that's what we've got down here. Is that what you've got, Tommy? Squidacati's going to hustle out and clear that one.
Yeah, good goalkeeping from Judy Caddy. He was out and off his line quickly and putting that one safely into touch. Sorrento did start the second half pretty well. A lot of the game seemed to be played in Bayswater's half, but you just sense that City have gradually refound their focus in the game. That double change has perhaps just given them some fresh legs, and they're looking the more likely team to score the second goal, it has to be said.
Pandor picks up the throw in there and returns it. It's with McQuavo, whose pass is straight. Picked off by Hunt. And look to get the goals going forward, but his pass is also straight. It's a high one there for Gauntlet to deal with. He tries to throw a foot in there. Doesn't get much contact on the ball. So Petronero finds McQuavo. Back to Harrison, who lets it run. Abraham picks it up now for Sorrento. Clips it down the line, and a chance to get him behind and try and get Sorrento going forward there for the substitute, Nathan Frith. Cleared, and Abraham picks up the throw for Sorrento. Little back heel looking for Gauntlet. 50-50 there. I think Gauntlet and Harrison. Bayswater have the ball, and McQuavo was fouled there by Abraham. Not a huge amount of contact, but the Bayswater striker just slipped as it happened, and the whistle blows. Well, as things stand, it's going to be a pair of 1-0 trophy-winning victories for Bayswater City. Still plenty of time for Sorrento to change the tail of the tape there. So that one comes out, headed back down by Turner. Good retrieving tackle there from Hunt for Sorrento. Long ball high. Abraham's interested. A few defenders there, and perhaps the header back to the goalkeeper was the option. But the defender trying to chest it down instead, and at the expense of a Sorrento corner.
Yeah, great pressure there from Abraham on Rindell. It didn't really give him the... Made him had to make a tough decision. Did he head it back, or did he just control the ball and put it behind? Safety first in the end.
Well, the big bodies of Gilson and Christopherson make their way forward for Sorrento. For this corner. Over the head of Christopherson, over the head of Gilson as well. It comes out to Hunt, whose strike is blocked. Hunt will retrieve. Good tackle there, good challenge from Pandor. And a chance now for Turner to run the other way, and that pass is a shocker. Just needed to roll it down the line and give McQuavo a chance.
Try to go off the outside of the boot there, Sean. Just wrap his outside of his foot around it, just curl it into the path of McQuavo, and a good pass there would have surely put the forward through on goal.
It probably didn't need it, the curl on it. Could have just side-footed it straight down the line, I thought. As we see the Murdoch and Balcatta sides making their way down the tunnel to prepare for our next game. Tommy, I'm sure you're looking forward to that one, the Women's NPL State Cup final.
Should
the
be
ball there stuck under the legs of the Balcatta player. The referee allows play to go on.
Yeah, it should be a cracker, Sean. Repeat of the night series final from earlier in the season, but still some time left in this game, of course, before we get too excited about the games to come, the senior finals, of course.
Sorrento still searching for that equaliser. They came so close when Theo Gilson rattled the crossbar. That's as close as they've come. That ball down the line for Harrison. Hint of an offside. Flag stays down. Flick there into the path of the Bayswater attacker, who fizzes it across the 6-yard box, but it's cleared. Abraham is going to hustle to try and pressure Jacob Turner, but the ball's out and over the line.
Yeah, it was Kivanovic who had just ghosted into the opposite side of the pitch there, had to put the ball in on his right foot on that occasion. We've seen him with that left foot with set pieces this season looking dangerous, and I think he was just trying to feed that into a good area, but Sorrento well organised on that occasion to deal with it.
Both sides failing to string too many passes together at the moment. So tired legs leading to a bit of a scrappy end to this one. Bayswater will not care one jot if the scoreline remains as it is. The hunt for the equaliser goes on. Here's Gauntlet. Steps inside, finds himself a bit of space. Plenty of time for him to pick a ball out, and in the end probably waited a little too long. Lunging in there with the challenge is Kvijanovic, and giving away another set piece in a promising position. Abraham always lively. Streaming forward, perhaps looking for a quick free kick, but the ball is in the hands of McLean, and he's not giving it up easily.
A couple of occasions where Gauntlet's got forward from full-back, Sean. He's looked pretty good down this right-hand side, coming inside as well, of course, and getting involved in an attacking sense. They'll need him in these final 15 minutes or so.
I jinxed myself saying I don't make mistakes there. It was Harrison with the ball holding up play. Ethan Banks standing over this one. Fires over the target. The Bayswater goal kick as the minutes tick down. Still holding on to that 1-0 lead. George Jackson to take the restart for Bayswater. Long towards Pandor. A head up, won by the Sorrento defender, but only out as far as Forsyth. There fires one on target, but Giudicardi handles that one comfortably and rolls it out for Gauntlet. Stevens turns and rolls it out for Christopherson. Has a bit of chasing to do, but fields it now and finds Colley down the line. He fizzes one forward, but only as far as Jacob Turner for Bayswater. He clears. Colley with the throw. Banks looks to bring it down and turn. Perhaps picks up a foul. Wasn't a lot of contact there, but just enough to draw the whistle of Niall Gilmore. Another good spot for a set piece. Surely Sorrento will have to take one of these chances soon. Sorrento set piece, long to the back post. Headed back across by Gilson, and an acrobatic attempt there from the big centre half, Christopherson. Certainly a rash and reckless one with some bodies flying in there. He receives a yellow card for his troubles. Athletic attempt though.
Would have been a spectacular goal if it found the back of the net. Sorrento looking to find that equaliser, but Bayswater are defending really well so far. They're led by their goalkeeper, who's been decisive at a lot of these set pieces in particular.
And it will be the Bayswater goalkeeper, George Jackson, to get us back underway. State Reserves Cup final at Inglewood Stadium between Bayswater and Sorrento. Bayswater City leading by 1-0. Sorrento pressing hard for an equaliser, a series of set pieces, but haven't been able to find the target. Bayswater take over on the far side, but Tammy Abraham picks the pocket there. Comes away with the ball. A good touch to go around his man, but the referee says play on for Gilsonen. He was looking for a free kick. Forsyth going the other way. He has got Pandor. Pandor to ice it. Good block there from the Sorrento defender, Gilsonen, making up for his earlier concession of possession. And Sorrento just about able to spring a counter-attack there. But Bayswater settle. Forsyth for McQuavo. McQuavo for Harrison. And back to Forsyth. He looks to clip one over there for the run of the attacker. The referee not interested in any sort of penalty shouts there. Pietranero going down under contact. Flicked around the corner by Harrison. Out to Pandor again. Chances coming now for Bayswater. McQuavo to ice it. Saved by Giudicati. And the rebound is followed in by Alex Pietranero. Bayswater look like they'll win their second trophy of the day. It is Bayswater 2, Sorrento 0.
Yeah, the game was just starting to open up a little bit, wasn't it, Sean? Sorrento were trying to get bodies forward, trying to open the game a little bit, take a few more risks, and in the end it was Bayswater. The ball was threaded through. McQuavo's shot was on target. It looked as though it was going in. The goalkeeper made a good save, but unfortunately it was straight into the path of Pietranino, who had the simple task of placing into an empty net.
You can see from the body language of the Sorrento players there that this one is just about over. They sunk to their knees on the halfway line. Similar fashion to the way you'd expect after the final whistle. There still is time to play, but they're going to need a couple of quick sucker punches to make their way back into this one. Cody Bingham coming on now, the substitute. He has scored a couple of goals in this competition in the 5-1 win over Caramar. Can he repeat the dose here? They're going to need to. They're going to get back in this. It looks unlikely now. Kinnan Fields. Back for Gilsonen. Back for Kinnan. Fizzes that one in there to the feet of Hunt. He can't control it. Harrison looks to skip by one. And it's just a series of changes in possession at the moment. There's another one there. Hunt giving it away to Pandor, looking to win it back now. Pandor finds a teammate in Krijanovic, but the whistle blows. And Bayswater will have a free kick. A long diagonal is on here for Pietranero. But the Logan Rindell option is to soak up a bit of time. Hit that one long down the line. McQuavo is going to be interested in this one. Created the second goal. Looks for one of his own. Another great save from Giudicati. Was really unlucky with the rebound on that last one, that it fell into the path there of Pietranero, but on this occasion, Parry was out to safety.
Yeah, we spoke about the strength of McQuavo earlier. He rolled his marker in the area. Giudicati with a good save, though. One that he'd probably expect to make, but one which was necessary and able to keep Sorrento alive with an outside chance in this one. Bayswater, though, certainly looking the more efficient as the half wears on, that's for sure.
Pietranero fizzed that throw in directly at Tommy Abraham, who couldn't chest it down and control it. Over the line for another Bayswater throw. Pietranero to go again. He's got the chest of McQuaver, who's thrown to the ground there by Tom Abraham. And the referee just coming over and just saying, calm things down, guys. Now Pietranera with the throw. He's got Ray's Pandor further afield than McQuavo. Looked for him, but Sorrento come away with it again. Turnover in possession. And a chance here for the substitute, Bingham. He looks back for Christopherson, who just gets that one completely wrong. Fluffs his lines there and out for a Bayswater throw. Well, it looks now more and more likely that it will be 2 trophies for Bayswater City to kick off today. A perfect day for them. As McQuavo rolls it for Pandor. Ray's Pandor. Back for Sportiello. In for McQuavo's. Sliding tackle is good. Got a good piece of the ball, but Abraham's got a bit of space to run. And a man on the left wing. He can't find him, though. It was a poor pass, in truth. And now Pandor's got plenty of space. He has got Harrison running ahead of him. He eventually looks to roll it into his path. I think he just got a little bobble there before he hit the pass. And Giudicardi will take the restart for Sorrento. Time running out now for the Gulls. They will need a goal, and they will need one quick smart if they're to have any chance in this one. Christopherson jogging over there, the centre half, to take the throw. Throwing men forward and just looking like a flat 3 at the back now for Sorrento. And McQuavo looking to make his presence felt. Intervention by Stevens can only surrender possession to Bayswater for another throw in. McQuavo can't hold on to that one. Harrison does well to get it toe in and get it back to his number 9. McQuavo throws himself in, wins the header. But Sorrento come away. Bingham, nice little nutmeg chance with it. Numbers ahead of him. Had Abraham that he was looking for, but the pass was cut out. Hustling over there now for Sorrento is Nathan Frith. And Sorrento do win possession and do have a chance to get another ball into the box from this dead ball. Gilson and Christopherson again make their way forward. All hands on deck for Bayswater. Nobody up on halfway. Almost every player on the field is in that penalty box. It comes out for Christopherson. Chance, a scramble. Back for Christopherson. Or rather Nathan Frith on the follow-up. He couldn't get a clean strike on it, but chance to get another ball into the box. It's a good curler. A header over the back, and it'll be another. No, it won't be a Sorrento corner. Despite their protest, it'll be a Bayswater goal kick.
Yeah, Hunt must have thought that one was going to be another set piece, because he was happy to leave that one. He possibly had a chance to slam that one back across the face of goal, but unfortunately that's just been the way it's gone for Sorrento in this second half. They've huffed and they've puffed, but they've just lacked that little bit of punch in the final third when it's mattered.
Jackson's goal kick is scuffed and just gives Sorrento a chance there, but the pass was poor. They've had their chances, Sorrento, to build up and string some passes together and create attacks, and they've just come undone on that second, third ball time and time again today. Gauntlet with the throw. Still time. They're going to need something fast. Stevens ricochets out to Abraham here, who looks to take on a man. Confronted here by Kazura, who enlists the help of his teammate. Abraham continues to fight on and wins Sorrento a throw. Good work right there from Thomas Abraham. And comes back out to Gauntlet. That's a great cross. In-swinger with the right foot there, the outside of the boot. There is only 3 minutes to play in this one. The tablet is up, stoppage time, free kick. They will probably need a goal from this
3 minutes at a time.
if they're going to have any chance. Abraham lurking out on the right as he was on the last free kick. And I'd suggest, unless a player comes over to him, that will be the option they take again. They do bring a man over. Well, it looked like they were bringing a man over to mark him. Abraham now heads into the massive players. As Banks stands over this one, fires it in, punched away by Jackson at the expense of a corner. But with only a couple of minutes left now, Sorrento are going to need something miraculous to force penalties here. Once again, everyone forward for Sorrento, everyone back for Bayswater. That corner is lofted in there. Stevens header back. Jackson claims and claims well. And may have copped one in the midriff there. And the free kick is given, and the referee indicates that he will be adding all of this time back on, as Bayswater will take this opportunity to make probably their final substitution of the day. Christian Sayers warming up to replace Reyes Pandor, who's been fairly good today, wouldn't you say, Tommy Pandor? He's been lively and linked up well with McQuaver on a number of occasions.
He was a player that definitely built his way into the game, I think, Sean. It was certainly De Cooley and McQuaver who were making all the early running, but as the game unfolded, Pandor was the player who was dropping a little bit deeper, who was getting on the ball earlier, and he proved an important role for that second goal in particular as well, when he fed the pass through for McQuaver's initial shot, which was then put in by Pietranero. So a good performance there from Pandor, absolutely.
Well, it's been two tightly contested finals to kick off this Super Saturday of Perth football. But Bayswater looking like they will close this one out quite comfortably in the end. Long ball forward. Udicardi fumbles initially, but picks it up on the second bounce and rolls it out to Gauntlet. And he has Abraham down the line. He was going to look further down the line, perhaps. The run of Hunt was not rewarded, as sliding in to intercept that ball was Igor Kvijanovic. Hacked away by Kazura. Now or never for Sorrento. They need a ball in the box, they need a goal, and then they need another one promptly. Surely too much to ask now for the goals. Streaming forward here is Christopherson, fizzes one into the box, looking there for the run of the substitute, Logan, or rather, Ethan Banks. Almost made it through a whole game without looking at the wrong team sheet, Tommy, and then stoppage time I've choked. Unbelievable. My last contribution on the commentary today before you take over with a couple of your special guests for the senior finals, the women's NPL and the men's NPL coming up. Please do stick around for those. They're going to be absolute crackers. Bayswater City have kicked us off with 2 trophies. The under-18s went their way, and it looks like the Reserves Cup final is going their way as well. Late free kick, late yellow card, and Udicardi is ambling his way forward. They really do have everyone now forward, including the goalkeeper, to take this. Abraham is in a bit of space. McQuavo back to cut that out if he goes there. They put it in the box. Cleared by Harrison. Hacked back in. Headed away by Kazura. And a chance for McQuavo if he can get his head up. But there is the final whistle from referee Noel Gilmore to bring this State Cup Reserves final to a close. Bayswater City make it 2 from 2. They took out the under-18s. They've taken out the reserves.